Hey mamas, let's talk Elf on the Shelf. Do you love him? Do you loathe him? Do you wonder if he should even be part of your Christmas celebration as a Christian family? Those are the questions we're going to get into today, and how you can make your Elf on the Shelf a positive, encouraging, and even religious experience for your kids. Hi, I'm Stacy from FamiliesWithGrace.com, the Christian mom's resource for everything faith and family, and we are going to dive into all of those things today and talk about Elf on the Shelf and how we've made it work in my family. We've created a fun, positive way for Elf on the Shelf in our family. When we started, my husband and I were not totally on board, but once our oldest started asking for an elf after seeing one in her preschool classroom, we decided to take it and make it our own tradition, just with a few twists. And now, all these years later, when our daughter is 15, our elf has become a sweet part of our Christmas season that we're not letting go. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by the whole Elf on the Shelf thing, or maybe a little unsure about the idea of an elf spying on your kids, you're not alone. We felt the same way, but came up with 14 ways to keep it simple, fun, and positive. So let's jump in and make sure you hang around until the end, because the last tip is really important. First thing, ditch the elf book and personalize the introduction. Our elf came with the usual Elf on the Shelf book, but it wasn't really the message that we wanted to send. Instead, we created an introduction letter explaining that our elf would not be monitoring bad behavior or reporting back to Santa. Instead, he's here to have fun and help us get into the Christmas spirit. I love that we can make this tradition fit into our family values and what's important to us. The second thing that we did is no behavior monitoring. We decided early on that our elf would report back to Santa about the good things our kids did and not the bad. We wanted our kids to do the right thing because it's right, not because they were worried about a gift or Santa watching. So we skipped the behavior monitoring and keep it all positive. The third thing we do is that we chose our own arrival and departure dates. Our elf arrives December 1st and goes back to the North Pole with Santa on Christmas Eve. But the first year, the kids were sad he wouldn't be there to see them open gifts, so he stayed for Christmas Day. Now our elf heads home on Christmas Eve, unless we get a special request for him to stay one more day. The fourth thing is that we skip the naughty pranks. Our elf can be silly, and he certainly is, but he doesn't get into trouble or make a mess. He might wrap up the table in wrapping paper or do something else playful, but it's always harmless and sweet. We want the kids to have fun without feeling stressed by cleaning up any elf messes or having a bad example from the elf of things that they should not be doing anyway. The fifth thing is we focus on Jesus. At least once each season, our elf sits near the manger scene as a reminder of what Christmas is really about, celebrating Jesus' birth. And he mentions his excitement about celebrating Jesus' birthday in his letters. It's a simple touch, but I love the focus it brings back to the real reason that we celebrate. The sixth thing is that we have kindness suggestions. Our elf comes with kindness ideas for the kids throughout the season, things like organizing the shoes in the mudroom or doing a chore for someone else. We want our kids to see the holidays as a season of giving and kindness. If you're looking for any ideas, there are so many cute kindness printables out there to help inspire little acts of kindness. In fact, I have a link in the description for you for one that you can personalize that comes from my Etsy store. Number 7. Sometimes your elf brings fun treats. So he will bring small treats like Christmas crafts, candy, Santa hats. They don't have to be extravagant. In fact, most of them I find at Dollar Tree. The treats add a little extra magic without going overboard. Number 8. Another thing that we did that really helped is making the elf posable. One accessory that I do recommend is Elf Flex. It's bendable wire that makes your elf easier to position. I love it because it keeps our elf right where we want him and adds to the fun. I'll include a link for that for you as well. Number 9, plan for touches. We had to come up with a plan for when the elf accidentally gets touched, especially when our kids were little. So what we did is that we would sprinkle him with sugar and blow him a kiss, and that would keep his magic intact. Another thing that we would do if he needed to be moved was use oven mitts in order to move him from one place to another to keep him safe and not touch him. This helps keep the kids from stressing if the elf accidentally gets bumped. The 10th thing is that we plan ahead, because let's be honest, thinking of new ideas for your elf every night can be a chore. So I make a list in November with simple ideas and treats he'll bring. I hit up the Dollar Tree and start from there. It saves me time and keeps me from feeling frazzled each night because I just draw from my list. The 11th thing that I do is I set a reminder. By evening, my brain is shutting down, so I have a reminder on my phone to help me remember to move the elf. It's a lifesaver, which brings me to point 12, use a code name. We adults sometimes need to discuss elf logistics without the kids overhearing, so we gave our elf a code name. We went with Legolas. Fellow Lord of the Rings fans, anyone? This helps us keep the magic alive and keeps the kids guessing. So we don't talk about him in front of them, but if we do need to talk about him when they're up, we use that instead. Our 13th thing is that we keep our elf out of the way. Some of the ideas for Elf on the Shelf that I've seen online really have him right in the middle of things that would not be a practical way for us to be able to go throughout our day. He does not fill up our entire kitchen sink with marshmallows or do something that would really interfere with our family life. And the last thing is, enjoy the fun. At the end of the day, the elf is all about creating memories with our kids. A few years ago, we were staying at my parents' house over Christmas, and even the adults got a kick out of the elf's antics. This tradition has been something our whole family looks forward to every year. If you're on the fence about Elf on the Shelf or have felt overwhelmed by it, I hope these ideas help make it easier and more meaningful. For us, Elf on the Shelf has become a special part of our Christmas memories. So make it your own, keep it positive, and most importantly, enjoy this special time with your family. If you need some additional ideas for your elf, or you want to see a written version of this very content, be sure to check the description in the link where I have a free printable letter that you can use for your elf to arrive with. Hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you next time. Merry Christmas.